when you're ready.
Community-built resilience by me. What is it? Community refers to the feeling of fellowship with the people surrounding you. This commonly includes sharing attitudes, common goals, or characteristics. Resilience is the ability to quickly overcome or withstand difficulties. Community can help build resilience with considerate, collaborative effort. However, it requires the entire community to cope effectively with and learn from adversity. In order to do so, communities must take pleasure in their history and culture. They can do this through engaging in activities that may enhance their strengths. Social networks can help build other communities, and this is important because community resilience has shown to have links to good qualities, including affordable housing, income equality, and more. In 1964, Nelson Mandela was found guilty of sabotage and received a life sentence. He spent most of his time on Robben Island, forced to live a seemingly unending sentence. The guards attempted to make the prisoners lose their spirit through a monotonous routine. However, Mandela was able to continue despite the difficult conditions. He argues that putting everyone in custody together was the authorities' greatest error, because it allowed them to be able to strengthen and support one another. While each person was able to withhold their individuality and personal beliefs, they were still able to lend hands to one another. Mandela ended up becoming the first president of South Africa and established truth and reconciliation. In this process, he was able to gather information from both victims and perpetrators in a setting of safety where there would be no punishment. This allowed to build more trust with the people, and therefore it created a more resilient country. At 7:17 a.m. in 1985, an 8-magnitude earthquake devastated Mexico City. While the destruction lasted only 4 minutes, it severely impaired the city. 5,000 individuals had sustained injuries, 1,000 were buried in rubble, 200,000 people were rendered homeless as a result of the destruction to the buildings, 60% of the city was left without access to drinking water, and there was no longer any power, nor was there any cell phone service. The Red Cross gathered to assist and assess the situation. However, when they did, they noticed that nearly all Mexicans had gathered to aid one another, even though the earthquake had affected their own lives as well. In addition, the President of Mexico took a great deal of time to respond to the crisis and had rejected offers of foreign aid. In response, the people had organized their own rescue brigades to maintain durability. They found that vertical communication worked better than hierarchical. This meant that instead of following orders put in place by those in charge, they learned and acted through talking to one another. They even found that 85% of accidents were attended by volunteers. The hard work of the community led to the implementation of a new early alert earthquake warning system and other safety measures to help. Haiti similarly endured a 7-magnitude earthquake in 2010, one that killed 230,000 people. While they all endured trauma, they still continued to help each other. While it is thought that difficulties have been overcome with community, it is also thought that communities can be built from collective trauma. Haitians have endured collective trauma over the years, including slavery, poverty, and diseases. Therefore, their pre-made camaraderie allowed them to successfully aid one another, having even youth from disadvantaged areas return to places they believed could find survivors. While many people were willing to help, the aftermath of the destruction was quite different. New friendships seemed to only last throughout their respective traumatic incidents. Once the aftershock had left, the wealthy regrouped and the poor were left in rubble. Many people were also unable to focus on more than themselves, showing how isolating traumatic incidents can make it. In addition, there are also times in which community can decrease resilience. Toxic communities, for example childhood homes, are examples of that. Family is a consistent factor in most everyone's lives, and one's exposure to parents can shape who they are as a person in the future. However, those exposed to abusive childhood homes are exposed to people who may harm their resilience. Child abuse encompasses all maltreatment by an adult that may be threatening or violent towards a child. A study conducted by Berkeley and Oxford researchers linked the effects of child abuse to long-term decrease in confidence, as well as lowered self-esteem, guilt, shame, and depression. Lowered self-esteem has had a direct relation to resilience. People who are not confident enough won't believe that they can endure difficult times or hardships and therefore won't even try. However, those who are confident will believe the opposite. They know that they can make it through it, and so they will try. Most communities increase resilience with the exception of some outliers, for example, toxic communities. Community resilience has shown to help both the individual and the group withstand long-term hardships. However, this does not mean that it's perfect. It is hard to help someone's home life or convince them to leave a bad friend group. Therefore, we need to find ways to aid those in communities who are hurting their resilience. We need to identify the issues and build a new community around them in order to bring their resilience higher.
I'll add a big soundtrack later. How did your research question evolve as you moved through the research process?
I originally started my research question with, how does a community's physical environment promote innovation? However, once I started researching, I noticed that what interested me more than the physical environment was the people. I wanted to understand how the people were helping each other bring new ideas and how they helped each other. My interest in this new question sparked me to change my research topic. In addition, many of the artifacts I was given had direct links to my new question and therefore made it easier for me to understand.
Thank you. Another question. What additional questions emerged from your research and why are they important?
An additional question that emerged from my research was, how can we tell if someone's community is harming their resilience? This question is important because if we are able to identify communities that harm resilience, it is easier to help them. Unfortunately, while there are some small telltale signs of a harmful community, there is no specific way of knowing for sure for everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.